Well, I'm fans back when I was episode 6 of Aharen-San. So it's a pretty good episode. The first three parts of the story are pretty typical. There's more usual comedy. There's some differences. So let's get into it. So we open the episode up with Utaba around the park to see Atsushi again. But that they're playing with Riku. And well, usual jealousy starts. Basically tries to hurt a couple some rubbers. Riku has the situation. And it's a bond. When Atsushi's really close to her, she has chance again. Saying she's definitely her enemy. Of course, Rhino and Aaron showed up just to see it. End up playing with him for a brief bit. It's not very good. By the way, the Watanabe stuff was only seen 3 times this episode. Yep. As after the opening, we got to the same scene as she's heading to the park, except a different person's there, a different Aharen. It's actually Ren. It's a good way to show how they react to different people. Right, so so Ren ends up playing with him because he's just so kind. It's kind of just getting under play. Haren goes around very simple playing with her brother. They surprised to find out that Ren's a boy. I mean, yeah. You know, when you look at him, you would think he's a girl. Sorry. You would think he's a girl just by his look. How really young and feminine he is. It's pretty cool. I imagine it'll be video. We're getting the English release of the manga next year. And definitely going to pre-order it once we get a chance. There's a lot of new manga available to pre-order. You can pre-order Phantom Busters, I think. In English. I think. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of manga coming out. We got Steelbook 1 manga coming out in July. So in a couple of weeks, specifically. Oh yeah, I bought the Shonen Jump in a previous review. I bought 2 new Shonen Jump magazines. And they're a decade apart. First off, it's from 1987, and this is the debut of Part 1 of JoJo Bantam Blood. This is the first one of the second issue of 1987. Basically, this is a double issue that came out after December. You know, after the holidays were over, and then start to get back to normal in Japan. That's what these types of issues are for. They will catch up after a week break. Okay, some manga I haven't seen. But it takes each chapter of Saint Seiya doing the battle against the Silver Saint storyline. And it goes right on to the appearance of Iki in the story, as you can see here. Because I can't understand Japanese, so I don't know what these chapters are about. But they go chapter Kaneko Man, which is chapter... It doesn't specify. But I think this is just more of a comedy chapter, not an actual chapter from the manga. Because there's a subtitle. I'm trying to read a bit of Pinito Man manga, but I don't know. Maybe we'll keep reading. See what's going on. It's a series I don't recognize. Granted, I did, even though I've been watching Trenton House videos on the history of Shonen Jump, I cannot for the life of me remember this one. It's on chapter 7. I'll just have to look up what manga and the manga now in there. And the other one I got is from a decade later, in 1997, the debut of One Piece. Issue 34. They weren't cheap to get, by the way. They came in a bundle too, by the way. I didn't buy them separately. Something like the first issue and 1995 issue. Of course, in this issue, also has a chapter of Rurouni Kenshin, really early on during the Jinchu arc. So I'm not familiar with that arc yet, but I do plan to cover it when I get the chance in the manga, once I complete the Kyoto arc. You see, much manga has 3 total big story arcs, with the Kyoto arc being pretty long. Like the journey to Kyoto, then the eventual final battle against Shishio. Well, it also contains a one-shot called... Wait, that's it, number 7. So this might be... No, it's not... 77? No, this is actually a... what? No, it's called a... Wild House, basically a one-shot for what I found out. I assume. I can't even understand Japanese, so I don't really know what it's about. The plot doesn't give much information. First of all, Hallelujah Boy 2, which is for chapter 224. We also got a chapter of How TJ Nube, which is chapter... Actually, it doesn't say. I'm trying to guess what chapter this is. This is going to be the upcoming new adaptation of the manga coming out this year. Coming out sometime this summer. Most likely sometime this month in June or July. I can't remember when. So... June is still going to be a really big month for me to keep reviewing reviews. Even though a lot of anime end later this month. I really don't know what chapter this is. No, this is a manga, it's more of an episodic comedy. Honestly, is a number. I think this says chapter 190. I think. I don't know. But we might get the manga on the official Shonen Jump app someday. We have 2 debuts of almost iconic mangas. You can snag them for a good price. Because it's expensive, but you can buy them on eBay for a good price. We have had a Shonen Jump. I recommend you keep collecting. I'm going to collect a lot of debut issues first. And collect a lot of debut issues first. And then collect it's going to be taking a lot of time to collect every issue of Jump. Oh yeah, also, it's also contains a chapter of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's around chapter 42, I think. The game show up chapter, since Yu-Gi-Oh! Was mostly a game of the week type of story. Anyway, where was I? Futaba is really sure that Ren's a boy, so he can't steal her that Sushi-kun or Akun. So yeah. The third and final one for Futaba is a arrow. When he beat arrow. That we don't see Futaba until a little bit later on this point. As Atsushi and his friends mistaken Eru for, well, her sister. How? On the face and hair, she looks more different because she's taller and you know what else. I don't really want to say it, it's kind of embarrassing to say. She does try to correct them, but they won't listen. Aharen. Anyway, ask her to teach her about skateboard. She ends up complaining. No, she's not really good at it. Look at me. She does get help from Aharen and Ren at home. She was doing well, now they want to learn trick, and she's bad at. Okay. That's when Futaba shows up. Oh, of course. She's not an idiot though. She doesn't leave us at her by 1 minute. She's not dumb like the boys. Because seriously, they must be very, very stupid not to think she's a different person. I mean, it's pretty obvious. They're at the same height, if they look exactly the same. Not just in basic facial features, but in height and appearance, in height and specifics. And yeah, I could get that. But this is just stretch even for a comedy. Alright, Ahara. Camille shenanigans with Futaba. Also learn practice and stuff. Well, later, next day, Eric's just practicing doing it. As when Futaba shows up. They're chatting. Everyone thinks she can't replace her sister. Wants to be like sister, but she can't. She's failing. Well, Futaba gives some good advice. Ahern is Ahern, and she's her own person. Basically, don't try to be someone else. Be yourself. That's good advice. A lot more shenanigans around. She calls her enemy again. And again, just enjoying the trio just enjoying a family dinner. Oh. Well, Rena's a really considerate person. She's there to support her siblings no matter what. Anyways, this is only one. As Ren and Aaron are on their way to school, Ren is stressed they should do something good, do something for Aaron. Do something nice. So they said, so yeah. Aaron want to prove she can be independent, so it's rather a burden on her sister's shoulders. She was on her sister to worry about her all the time. So, Hakarenai. Hey, she's not exactly able to have Rido show up. Red's the one who called him. And he might know something they don't about what I heard. About why she actually agrees. So when I was out the shopping after the usual imagination sequence. So yeah. Has to be sister see she's well independent. Ends up arguing with Ren, who saying she's acting. Makes the argument ends up breaking the bag, causes Ren to run off. Aaron ends up realizing her mistake and apologizes to Rido. And feels like she can never be her sister like a sister. But Rido gives some similar advice to her. She can't replace her sister. So just be herself. And that is good advice. Wow, why don't you have some good advice? That's pretty fascinating. Again, I really like these cast of characters. They really grown. So I wonder if season 3 will add another new character. Like, I wonder if season 3 will add another new character. Who knows? I don't even know what season 3 is going to be like the last season or not. I do not know how many chapters there are. And how many have been adapted in the first two seasons are being adapted. Since, the comedy manga, so chapters are adapted together. And it surprised me when Robocop was adapted as a short form series, not a full length anime. Hey, it works. They get that every chapter paperly. I'm really surprised they actually compiled all those shorts into an full episode. And get off topic. No. Well, the two arrive back at the Aharen-San's house. As Aharen says that Ren hasn't come home. They were able to blame himself for it, but Rido reassures her that he might know they can't jump to conclusions. Should just wait for him for now. See if we come back on his own. Basically saying he's blowing off steam somewhere. Again, Rido being pretty mature and responsible in this episode. He's got his own comedic traits. He's mature and responsible in this one. You gave good advice. I knew what to do. I got mad respect for this dude. And then we cut to Rico where she was a spotted red. Well, the usual stuff. The usual introvert self-starts acting. Ends up watching Red for a distance. Red was sad. Still thinking about why everyone was acting like that. And when he ends up spotting Rico, they end up talking and we're talking. He also realizes that she might want to do it just the two of them. So it's a barrier. He ends up blaming himself. Yeah, Rico become one of my favorite characters of season 2. She's got a lot of good comedy. And having her be tied into the flashback of season 1 was clever. Like, if I ever rewatch the series someday, I'll definitely see if they actually added that detail. But it wasn't originally in the manga, because, obviously, because the beginning of the time. The points of adaptation, when the manga is a little bit later on its life stage, they could add stuff. They could add stuff introduced later that are tied to characters into flashback early on. That'll make the story flow better. That's what I like. JoJo does that sometimes. Like characters like Yukiko was added pretty early on before official debut. In the battle against Hazamata, Yukiko made a cameo in that episode. Alright, we got an upcoming Rohan chapter that's going to actually feature Josuke. This is going to be a first. This is a pretty interesting choice for Araki. Josuke's going to be part of it, but he's not the protagonist, that's Rohan. Now, so basically, the main series protagonist becomes sidelined as a secondary character to the story's protagonist. That's going to be one hell of a thing to do. I guess to see if the TV drama does adapt that chapter. I wonder how they're going to change that. This apparently features Josuke. But this is pretty funny. And speaking of which, if you look at the anime, you can see that Josuke is never shown in the entirety of his appearances in the OVA. Well, because it's a story told from Rohan's perspective, this is a Rohan series, and he does not like Josuke, so doesn't want to see his face. And him working with Josuke, something must be going on for that to happen. Most likely, Rohan's up to some, and reluctantly has to ask Josuke for help. I don't know. I think it should be the Koichi, but who knows? This is going to be a good chatter, so we'll just wait and see for that one. Anyway. Ren returns home crying, apologizes to Eru, who also apologizes. And they show the two of them show their appreciation of Aharen. And it's a great moment for the family as the episode ends. Now we got news of Aharen's mother appearing. I don't know when that's going to be. But mostly due to that post I saw, it might be in the the 9th episode on Monday. I don't know, but yeah, she's going to be played by Aharen's voice actress too. Her name is Aharen. So it was really interesting recurring role to see her. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please thumbs up. I want to see more. Subscribe to the channel, like, bell, but obviously, and I will see you guys later, episode 7 and 8. And we'll go to bed until I'm done. Joe Felix out.